I have a guest. You may have heard of this guy. His name is Sean Hannity. Sean Hannity, my dear friend, how are you, sir?
Mark Levin, the great one. God bless you. God bless America. Thank me. God bless us. I'm not sure. This is literally, I'm just getting this 2 minutes ago.
Yes.
We expect
is it an infection or a rash?
I get on TV no, not about a rash. You can talk about your personal problems later.
Okay, got it.
Huner Biden is about to get charged with 6 or 7 counts out in California.
See, this was something between us that Alan Dershowitz on my show had mentioned. The possibility that they cannot control what's going to happen in California.
Well, this gets very deep. This gets deep because if you go back and you listen to the whistleblowers, they were the first to expose this. What was one of the things that they said? They said with certainty that David Weiss, who had been investigating this case for years, told them point blank that he did not have charging authority in other jurisdictions like D.C. and California. Now, that contradicted exactly what the Attorney General Merrick Garland said. So somebody wasn't telling the truth. Now, this guy, David Weiss, has all these years. He conveniently allows the Burisma years, that's the oil and gas giant for people that may not know, that Huner was being paid millions for, the same Huner that admitted on Good Morning America that not one time, that he had no experience in oil, gas, coal, or Ukraine, but he's getting paid millions to sit on a board. And that's when his father, of course, went to Ukraine, leveraged $1 billion, got the prosecutor investigating Burisma fired. We found out that Huner and Burisma executives were in Dubai. They talked to Joe Biden, then vice president. Now, this guy, David Weiss, allowed the statute of limitations on the money, taxes, likely not paid in those years, 2014 and 15, to lapse in the middle of an investigation. David Weiss, who then came up at first, didn't want to charge Huner with anything. He wanted to bury it all. Then they came up with a clever idea, that sweetheart deal, until the judge in Delaware asked the prosecution, have you ever seen a deal like this before? And they had to admit, no, they never did, where he was getting no jail time for nothing. And that prosecutor, that one person, then that resulted in everything changing around. Because now the world was paying attention. And now all of a sudden they're going to be held accountable. And I'll tell you the worst part is the guy, David Weiss, that wanted to get him off the hook in the beginning is the guy then later that gets the authority by being appointed special counsel by Merrick Garland. And meanwhile, this is the guy that let it all be swept under the rug and didn't want to charge him with anything. So I don't trust any of it. Now that it's in the jurisdictions that he said he wanted to go to but didn't have the authority to go to, that contradicted what Merrick Garland said that he did have the authority. Now those chickens are coming home to roost, so to speak.
And it's interesting with all these connections, and they're not implied, they're real, with Joe Biden, that they don't even open a criminal investigation of Joe Biden. This is the great cover-up right there. So even if Huner Biden winds up at Sing Sing for the rest of his life, the fact of the matter is they're going to say, look how objective we are. We went after a Biden. Joe Biden doesn't even face a criminal investigation. Hold on, the criminal charges, but you're not even a criminal investigation. This is exactly what the special counsel statute was written for, no?
Well, yes, you're right on all fronts, but you being the constitutional scholar that you are, you know you can't indict a sitting president. But you
doesn't matter. Hold on, let me explain that. And yet Donald Trump was under criminal investigation. And yet Richard Nixon was under criminal investigation. So the issue of you can't indict a sitting president, that's not the Constitution. That's the interpretation of the Department of Justice under both parties. That said, we now know, thanks to the Circuit Court in Washington, D.C., we now know, thanks to Judge Chunkin, we now know, thanks to the Obama judges and the Biden judge, all in Washington, D.C., that you can investigate a president now and then wait till he leaves office and then charge him. That's the precedent that they've created with Donald Trump now. So the fact of the matter is...
Here's the problem Joe has.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So Joe Biden is at the heart of all of this. Joe Biden as a candidate and as a president, including, a day and a half ago, lied again and said he never was involved in his son or his brother's foreign business dealings. He originally said he never once spoke to any of them about any foreign business deals. Then that lie got debunked again and again and again. Devin Archer goes in, one of the top partners with Hunter, and he testifies.
Yeah, you're like the Rain Man on this stuff, aren't you?
I don't. You know what?
You know this stuff in your sleep. Let me
okay,
something.
But Devin Archer goes in.
Yes.
And Devin Archer says, "Well, I was on the phone with Hunter, the foreign business partners,
right?
And on at least 20 occasions. That's when that idiot Democratic Congressman Dan Goldman comes out and says they were probably just talking about the weather. Yeah, I doubt it. Here's what we know. Let me give you a quick snapshot here. Then we found pictures of Joe Biden meeting with Hunter's foreign business partners. One, the former First Lady of Moscow, Elena Baturina. Two, the Kazakh oligarch, the guy that we believe wired the money for a brand new Porsche for Hunter. In the case of the Russian oligarch, Elena Baturina, she gave $3.5 million to one of the shell corporations described by James Comer, the chairman of the House Oversight Committee. They found 20 shell corporations. We also have the pictures of Joe with business partners of Hunter, foreign business partners. So he's lied to the nation, and he lied again this week about it. So Peter Doocy. Here's the problem that Joe has here, is that if you didn't do anything wrong, you don't lie, number one. Number two, we have Hunter on his own laptop, the one that was suppressed, the one that was censored prior to the 2020 election, implicating his own father. I have to give half my income to Pops. Oh, I have to pay for all of Pops' home repairs. Or Tony Bobolinsky saying, 10% was for the big guy. Everybody knew that the big guy was Joe Biden himself. So he implicates his own father in this. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. And this is where your legal mind is going to help.
Yes.
Because if you look at the timeline, it was October of 2015 when it became official Obama administration policy after an interagency study on the country of Ukraine and corruption that they had made enough progress, was their conclusion, that they would give and grant $1 billion in loan guarantees. Let's fast forward. That's October 2015. Let's go to December of 2015. Joe Biden gets on the phone with his son Hunter, who's with two Burisma executives. They're in Dubai. He's in Washington. It's 5 days before he's supposed to deliver $1 billion in loan guarantees to Ukraine. Okay, this was also at the time we know that Burisma desperately needed D.C. help. Now, D.C. help doesn't mean Hunter Biden. D.C. help, we all know, means Joe Biden. Okay, he goes 5 days later to Ukraine. While he's there, instead of just delivering the money, he leverages $1 billion taxpayer dollars, demands the firing of the prosecutor, a guy by the name of Victor Shokin, who was investigating the corruption at Burisma. Hunter is sitting on the board, even though he has no experience, and at the time he's admitted to being a drug addict and an alcoholic, so I'm not sure what he could offer. And lo and behold, son of a bee, as Joe said, within 6 hours, they fired this guy, the prosecutor. Now, as a consequence of his official actions, the vice president, okay, Ukraine got the loan guarantee.
I'm going to have to take a break
without any conditions. But
All
the
right,
last thing is,
yes.
Hunter got paid. He continued to get paid money. He benefited financially from his father's official actions as vice president. Mark, read the bribery statute. That's exactly 101 right out of that statute.
I'll tell you something where I disagree with a lot of you guys. The number one impeachment issue is his violation of the Constitution, faithfully executing the laws on immigration. He's violated multiple laws. The American people can understand that without getting into all the ins and outs of bank records. I'm not opposed to us using that, but this is a big deal when a president of the United States is purposely destroying the country, our border, allowing sex slavery to go on and everything else. I think people
Mark,
get that.
I have a question.
No, I want to finish.
Am I allowed to pick and choose what laws I want to obey or not?
Of course not. But I'm saying when you put together an impeachment, you got to have the strongest articles first. The articles the American people will understand. It's a constitutional process, but it's also a public process. Number 2, on the student loans, he violated a Supreme Court ruling, and he violated separation of powers, and he took money from the taxpayers and essentially gave it to people who vote for him. That is a clear separation of powers constitutional violation. So I would start with that, and then I would get into all into the weeds about all the things you're talking about, which are very, very important. But it's going to be very difficult for Joe Biden and his lawyers to defend what he's done as a matter of policy. You don't even need depositions. You don't even need documents. All you need is the public record. I'm here with my buddy Sean Hannity. So, Sean, you have something very exciting going on that I want you to tell the public about.
You know, you're really nice to talk about this. So, one of the things that I've come to despise is Hollywood. I've come to despise the movies they make. And, you know, you might remember a number of years ago, we produced the film. I was very proud of it. It was called Let There Be Light. And it kind of had a good Christmas theme for it. Anyways, so some friends of mine came up with this idea to make a fun, family-friendly a Christmas film that also kind of dealt with the issues that adults would get and understand and realize. And it's called Jingle Smells. It's right out of the Mark Levin handbook. It has stars from Saturday Night Live, Victoria Jackson, a lot of people that you would know. And special appearances from a bunch of other people. I have a cameo in it that I think was pretty fun. And, you know, what's really kind of different about this, and you look at this, it features a guy, a war veteran, forced to take a job with his dad, John Schneider, the actor, quirky garbage men buddies hired to conduct a wild secret mission, destroying perfectly good toys by Christmas Eve. That's their mission. These popular toys pulled from the shelf after the film's star, James Storm, you know, they're based on the fact that they're canceled. He's canceled for his patriotic views. So instead of destroying the toys, Nick takes on the secret identity known as Jingle Smells, and he sort of becomes a Robin Hood of the holidays and saves the day. Now, one of the things that we did very differently. We made it so that it would be as widely available as possible. We didn't want to deal with any companies or distributors or we just wanted to put it out there. And so we partnered exclusively with Rumble. We released it on Thanksgiving Day. It has done phenomenally well. And what's happening is, you know, once people see it, you know, they tell their friends about it. And it's a type of movie for Christmas on a weekend, maybe this weekend. You can watch, you can laugh, you can relate to today's political situation with the woke world we live in, and you kind of have a different, you know, spin on what Robin Hood is, and it's very cool. And I think you'll enjoy it.
Like it's very fun.
It's called Jingle Smells. It's very funny. It's got
so where do people go to see this?
It's simple. Just go on Rumble. That's it.
And we're going to link to it.
Or you can go to the website, Jingle Smells.
Say it again. Jingle Smells.
JingleSmells.movie, or just go look on Rumble and you'll find it there.
Perfect. And we're going to link to this. And I'm going to watch this over the weekend. It sounds great. Sean, you're a great friend.
But
you know, you're
official.
Like a brother.
Hunter's indicted, by the way. He just got indicted.
Good. Well, he might enjoy prison. You never know.
Yes. He might.
All right, brother. Take care of yourself.
All right, my brother. Love you. All right, bye.
All right, love you too. Bye-bye.